It's unlikely he would have wanted us to meet Corina. We met her in the small legal aid office of the Catholic Archdiocese of San Salvador. Her story was simple. Her husband had not come home for 2 nights. When did he disappear? Tell me exactly what happened. He left on Wednesday at 9 in the morning to go to work. Her husband was a well-known artist, director of a puppet theater. He also taught art in high school. That day, he left home and didn't return. Were you worried? Yes, he's always come home to sleep. What makes you think your husband has been captured? I'm not sure, says Corina. The chief of police had an explanation. There are people who disappear suddenly from their homes. No one knows where they are. Then they reappear in Cuba or in Russia or Nicaragua studying. But it seemed unlikely that Corina's husband had gone off to study. She came home to their house in the middle-class neighborhood of San Salvador to find it broken into. The neighbors said that the army had broken in and searched for 3 hours. She was panic-stricken. She called us. She wanted to pack some of her things and leave, but she was scared. She asked if we would come as some sort of protection. So we came. And we watched Corina in an hour and a half pack up the pieces of her family life. There was no time to think or choose. Her husband's puppets were first. Then his portrait. A few dishes, the refrigerator, some children's clothes, some books, her husband's suit, a toy. Once she left the house, she would never return. Her whereabouts would be kept secret. It would be 2 weeks before we heard from her.
Buen día, señor Sol. Muy
Even a puppet show can't escape the reality of life in El Salvador. Our group, they say, was directed by our beloved Roberto Franco, and it's thanks to him that we can give you a moment of happiness. Roberto's wife, Corina, has been looking for him for the last 3 weeks. She goes from one security force to another, hoping for some news. Journalists in San Salvador told us that the chances of her husband turning up in the jail we saw, where U.S. congressmen and press can visit, were very slim. Even as she searched, she knew that there are other jails, which the press never enters and from which few prisoners emerge. She was not the only one searching. There are many in the streets of El Salvador. They always go to the legal aid office at the Archdiocese.
Buenos días, señorita.
Pase adelante, siéntese.
Gracias. Siéntese, mamá. Siéntese, mamá.
Señora, siéntese. Siéntese. ¿Qué tal? Aquí está. Mucho gusto. Siéntese.
Siempre preguntando, señorita, por mi hijo, ¿verdad?
We are here again about my son.
Es el doctor Alejandro Miracetino, sí.
It's been 7 months that he is gone.
Ya va a tener 7 meses el 26 de
I've looked for him everywhere and I can't find him.
He buscado por todas partes y no lo encuentro, ¿verdad?
Sí. Nosotros, señora, hemos
We have received the answer from the security forces that they don't have him. He's not there.
No lo encuentran, no está.
¿Cómo puede perderse una persona, señorita?
How can a person get lost? A person as well known as my son. My son was dedicated only to his work. And he is a pediatrician. I've looked for him everywhere and I can't find him. I feel desperate. He has 3 children. The youngest doesn't even know him. The eldest child said to me, "No, Grandma, we don't want any presents. We want my father."
La verdad es que la desesperación mía es por los niños, ¿verdad? Preguntan por él.
I'm desperate for the children. They ask for him. I would like to be stronger, but I can't. It's not only him. When you go to the humanitarian organization, you realize that there's an enormous amount of people who disappear. Why do they disappear? Colonel Nicolas Carranza is one of the most powerful men in El Salvador.
Where do they go, those people?
Well, it could happen. Maybe they go to the United States. We have found out many cases of people who seems to be disappeared, and he has gone to the United States. Maybe some of them go to the guerrilla. Some of them may be retained as for an extortion, for example, or as maybe kidnapped. That's what I could say to you.
It has been 5 weeks since Corina's husband has disappeared. We were about to leave El Salvador.
Me siento mal, terriblemente mal, imagínese usted.
I feel bad, very, very bad.
Un día martes, por así
On a
decirlo,
Tuesday, you have a home,
unos hijos sanos,
children,
un esposo que trabaja,
a husband who
y un
works,
día miércoles no tenerlo, no saber
and on a
dónde
Wednesday
está.
you don't have him.
Sentir, vivir esa impetencia de buscarlo en todas
To feel
partes
this
y no saber de él,
impotence,
no
to look for him
encontrar
everywhere,
rastro,
not to find a
de
trace.
¿hacia dónde fue? ¿Qué se hizo?
Where has he
¿Qué fue de
gone?
toda su vida anterior?
What
De
has
su
happened to the
trabajo, de
life he
sus
had?
hijos. Angustia, pensar
Anguish,
que pueda haberle ocurrido algo malo,
to think that something bad could have happened to
estar en
him,
situación,
that he might be
no
in a
sé,
very bad situation,
sumamente mal, quizá enfermo,
sick,
preso,
prisoner,
no sé, incluso si muerto,
even
y
dead,
no tener siquiera
and not to have, how to say,
¿cómo decirlo? No tener siquiera la
not to have the
certeza de si está
certainty
con
that he is
vida
alive.
o no está con vida.
How do you feel without your father?
Triste,
Sad,
mucho.
very sad. Do you think that he will be back?
Sí, pienso que va a volver en algún momento.
Yes, I think he will come back. Where is he, do you think?
Por ahorita no sabemos nada.
For the moment, we don't know anything. What do you think?
Ahora me siento con temor.
Now I'm afraid for my
Por todos
children,
nosotros,
for
pero
all of
siento
us.
el apoyo, la protección,
But I feel the
por así
protection of
decirlo,
you.
de ustedes que son prensa internacional.
You are the
La
international
opinión
press.
internacional tiene mucho peso acá.
The international opinion
para las
carries a lot of
personas
weight
que-
for the
que
people who
gobiernan,
govern here.
Pero luego ustedes se van, ustedes van a
But
estar
you are
acá solamente
leaving,
unos días
and
y
we
nosotros
stay.
nos quedamos acá, seguimos viviendo
We
esta
must go on
situación que
living like
atravesamos.
this.
Ustedes toman los datos,
You take down
elaboran, qué
facts.
sé yo, material periodístico,
You'll make
lo
some
proyectan en
journalistic
otras
project
partes,
out
pero
of
ustedes
it.
están acá trabajando un par de días y
But
se
you're
van.
working and you leave.
Nosotros seguimos viviendo acá, seguimos viviendo
And
el
we must
problema,
go on living here,
buscándolo.
looking for him. Are you afraid for your security?
Sí,
Yes.
sí la tengo.
Yes, I'm afraid.
Tengo temor,
I'm
vivo un
afraid.
estado de nervios, realmente.
I know that sometimes I look
Bueno,
very
uno
calm.
muchas veces parece muy sereno, ¿no? Yo tengo dos hijos,
I have 2 children.
uno de ellos se da cuenta en
One of
gran
them
medida de las
already
cosas, no
realizes
puedo
what's
pasar llorando
happening.
todo el día,
And I can't
eso
cry
me
all
deprime.
day. It depresses
No
him.
puedo vivir angustiada las 24
But at
horas del día,
night, a
pero
time of
realmente
solitude,
en las noches, en horas de soledad, dan deseos
I want to
hasta de
cry with
llorar,
the
de la
impotence, with the
impotencia,
rage
de la
of
rabia, de no saber a dónde correr, pues a dónde buscarlo.
Of not knowing where to turn, where to look for him.
Sí tengo temor.
Yes, I'm afraid. El Salvador means the Savior, who can save his children.